Yeah, what we call this, there are a lot of incidents, what we call, that is very unfortunate. The rising intensity on the racism, looking at from not from the angle of Malaysian performing their duty, but looking at race. Okay, and you still remember when we were young, when you steal from the Malay shoppers is haram, but if you steal from the Chinese shop, it's okay. So this kind of thing, what we call, the understanding, and now compounded with racism that has been intensified of late. So we are looking from any angle, a Malay and the Chinese fighting with each other, then naturally, with the reality of the digital technology, it can spread out just within second. Then people can, the feeling of racism, Malay against Chinese, Malay against Indian, Islam against Christianity, and whatnot, is being portrayed from this sentiment. So what we call is start from education. If until and we are not brave enough to look at our education system, whereby giving the young generation the chance to mix with each other and engaging when they are still young, I think this issue will be continuing, and what worries me, it will be compounded over the years. Well, when you talk about humanity, it means the society. It means dealing with people, communicating, interacting with people, caring, compassion, taking care of each other, helping each other, working together. What we call helping people in need. So what we call, in short, it is dealing with the human, with the society, with compassionate, cooperating with each other for the good of the society. Religion gives the guideline how to how the society relate by itself. Okay, religion is very important because it gives ideas, it gives guiding ideas on how to relate to societies. Okay, in the religion of Islam, for example, the Quran has given a lot of guidance on how to deal with the society, and the scholar has summed up into 5 aspects of on how to deal with the society. We call it maqasid syariah. That means the objective of the Sharia. Sharia, that means the law or the way to become a good Muslim. When we talk about market Sharia, everything focus about the society, taking care of the society, preserving the society. There are 5 maqasid, that mean protection of faith, the protection of life, protection of the lineage. You know who is your son, the family, and whatnot. The protection of intellect, the reason, and the protection of property. That means these are the maqasid, the objective of the Sharia, and if you look at it, these are the essence, protecting and nurturing a healthy society. So from that context, humanity and religion, what we call religion giving the guideline on how to make a healthy society, and humanity is an act of that guidance. Well, religion is very important. What we call, without the religion, how does the society having the idea on how to create a good society? It doesn't. You cannot pluck it directly from the air. There must be some guidance. what we call. So when I cannot talk from other religious perspective, but on Islam, it is very clear. In the Quran, it says chapter 9, verse 13. It says that, O people, we have created you from a single male and female, and made you into nation and tribes, that you may know each other. لِتَعَارَفُوا. The idea of having nation and tribes is to know each other and to learn from each other. And truly the most honored of you is the right in the sight of Allah, is the one who is the most righteous towards you. That means religion is giving the idea from Islamic perspective, the creation of nation and tribes. The purpose is لِتَعَارَفُوا, to know each other, to learn from each other, to after knowing and to learn and to cooperate with each other. And those who are righteous, following the God path, will be what we call honored in the eyes of Allah. So that in that context, from the Islamic perspective, what we call religion is very, very important. If you understand it correctly, of course you don't judge a Muslim by their behavior. You try to understand Islam by not looking at the Muslim behavior, but look at what is the text, the what we call the guidance from the Quran. Then you can see whether that Muslim is following according to the Quran or not. So when we talk about the problem with humanity, human relation, what we call infighting, racism, that means if you put it from the parameter of the Quran, you will see a lot of difference. What the Quran says, what is in practice is totally different. When you talk about humanity, it is very important from the Quranic perspective. Then you see what we call how the relation, how does the Quran really focusing on the society, on cooperation, on understanding with each other, and working toward common good. You don't gauge religion from the reality of a person, even though he's a Christian or a Buddhist or a Muslim or Hindus or whatnot. If they really follow their scripture, then you will see that they will be a good citizen, they will be a good human being, they will be a good neighbor. I have mixed with a lot of other person of different religion, but if they follow the scripture, then you don't have any problem with that. There are a lot of common values that we share, that we can harness the humanity and working together. The problem in our society is there is no chance for our children to interact from young. The education has always been a parallel education with as long as you have a Chinese school, Tamil speaking, the Malay and religious, from young they don't have the chance to interact. That means everybody is looking from their own perspective, from all aspects of life. You see, for example, as for me, I was from primary school. I was in a mixed school. Okay, we call it national sekolah kebangsaan jenis sekolah rendah jenis kebangsaan. That means a school that is a mix Chinese and Indian. When I was still very young, primary school, and then I went to St. John Institution, Kuala Lumpur. It's still a mix. So when you are young and when you are teenager, you mix with the Chinese, with the Indians, with the Hindus, with the Christian, with the Muslims. Then this interaction help us to understand humanity better. When you talk about from the Malaysian context, we must relook back at our system of education. We have a national school, but still at the same time you still have school that is focusing on religion, on the Chinese school, And some of them, they don't even have a chance to interact with each other when they are still young. You see? So when they look religion, they look at we and the other. Okay, we are from our perspective. If you do good, from our perspective. So that means the chance for the young people to engage when they are young, to try to understand with each other, it is very limited. That is why that brought up the thinking that whoever does good thing, you look it from your narrow perspective of your understanding on the religion. Well, your question comes back to our post-independence. When we were independent, we are divided into racial lines. Okay, in terms of occupation, in terms of everything, including political parties. As long as our education continuing having a Chinese school, Indian school, Malay school, even though we have a national school that has been criticized as being too Malay and whatnot, and then compounded with party along racial lines. When you are representing the Malay interest, what do you expect? You must represent the interest of the Malay. When you have a Chinese party representing the Chinese, what do? You have to represent the Chinese. Okay? When you have an Indian party, you have to protect and fight for the interests of the Indians. And when you have an Islamic party, naturally you will defend through your understanding and perception, defending the Islamic idealism, the interest of Islam. Okay, so until and unless we are brave enough, okay, to reset everything, from education, from politics, from everything, what we call considering talking about the future, then these issues that you brought up will keep on coming once in a while. You know, when comes election, then the issue will be hot potatoes. Okay, will be deliberated intensely. If you look at the future, until and you are brave enough to reset everything, to face the next generation, then this issue, I would foresee that next 10 years you will come again, and you are 10 years older, then the same question will come up again. Because we have not touched the root cause of the problem. The foundation is based on racial line. Whether we are ready to reset everything, brave enough, whether you have the political will to do it, then the future would be bleak. In the context of Malaysia, all religion must understand that this is, accept it like it or not, it is a multiracial society, and we are blessed with all big religion in this country. It is a blessing. All the major religion, you have the Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and you have all the big races in the world. You have the Chinese, we have the Indian, and we have the Malay. All the big, if you combine the Chinese from China, India, and Malay, and the Malay archipelago, we are talking about how many billions. Whether you like it or not, the Indians still, they look at their homeland, India. They still have their family in India. And now, with the opening up of China, people are coming back to look at their root. Oh, I was here, then they are coming. So this is a blessing. Mind you, if our people can understand, accept this multiracialism, and everybody know each other religion and other sensitivities, we can tap all this potential from India, from China, from the Malay world, in terms of economic, social activity, and diplomacy and whatnot. This is a blessing. But if we choose the path of racial and religious line from a parochial perspective, then you are gone. you're finished. So you have to equip all religious. I understand there are some priests coming from India, knowing nothing about the Malaysian community, going to Batu Cave and becoming a great teaching and everything, and they don't even know the context of our Malaysian society. Same thing, we are inviting scholar or ulama from Indonesia and from other country teaching here without knowing the society over here. So these are the issues at stake that we have to ponder upon and to look into it seriously for policy implication in the future. I have been dealing with the Rohingya when the early refugees set foot in Pulau Langkawi. Okay, that was more in the 90s. The Rohingya, they don't come here by choice. They are not economic migrant. They are trying to save their life, right? I've been dealing with the Rohingya for many years, and I have 5 schools running for the Rohingya. If you have time, you can come to see our school in Terengganu, in Kuantan, in Penang, in Gombak, in Klang. Almost more than 900 students that we nurtured. We give them education. Likewise, the Syrian, they are not economic migrant. They are trying to save their life, seeking the compassion, seeking the humanity of our society. Of course, what we call what had happened for me, if you have 100,000 Rohingya coming over here, say 500 of them are creating problem. You don't send the whole them. Where do you want to send them back? Send back to Arakan? It is as if that you are sending them to die, because they don't have any choice. They come here not by choice. They are being forced. So I posted in my Facebook and it was attacked like hell by everybody, and it was so racist, so inhuman that I couldn't read it. It was too much. Kill them. They are dog and everything. They don't deserve to be treated like human. Mind you, what we call, they don't have any choice. Where do you send them back in the sea? The image of Malaysia as a place for compassion, the place for seek refuge by those who are being forced to leave their country, has been glowing, has put Malaysia in the place people are a dream country that they won't come. I was what we call in Geneva attending one international conference. I got a very glowing support. People respect Malaysia because for what we have done to the Rohingya, to the refugees from all over the world coming over here, giving them space to live, giving them breathing space while the political situation can be resolved in Burma. But after what happened, because when you talk about the attack on the Rohingya in the Facebook, you are not talking about Facebook read only by Malaysian. Facebook are being read by all over the world. Before this, we met the Rohingya in Mecca. There are 300,000 Rohingya living in Mecca. They respect the Malaysian like hell. After the way the Malaysian netizen are responding to the hate against the Rohingya, I don't have any more respect. Malaysian has no more respect because of that Facebook. Maybe they just following each other, but it's being read from Rohingya in Australia, Rohingya in America, Rohingya in New Zealand, Rohingya in wherever they are that they have and I got the feedback. And then you accuse this Bangladesh trying to defend the migrant. Of course, I would say that the Indonesian, the Bangladeshi, other than the Rohingya, most of them are economic migrant. the way you treated them here, sending them back to Bangladesh, you know what happened to them? What happened to this guy? He was treated like a hero in Bangladesh. Okay, and now we were so much respected by the Bangladeshi this while, but after what had happened, our image has gone down the drain. The goodwill that we have done for many years has gone down the drain just by one, pardon me, stupid reaction. Pardon me for saying that, because I have been dealing with international issues for many years. I know the consequences. You touch something else here without considering the effect of what we are doing, it will reflect on other. Now we have lost the Rohingya, now we have lost the Bangladeshi, and then what's next? Can you touch the Indonesian? No way. Because you touch one Indonesian, for example, you have the Malaysian embassy will be burned in Jakarta. The reaction is there. But you can bully the Rohingya because the Rohingya have nowhere to go. That's why it's an easy prey for those who are orchestrating this issue. So it's very pathetic, and I'm very sad about this incident. And how are we going to repair? The goodwill has gone. That's why the impact of the millennial generation, you just by click without thinking, you hate and everything, but you forget that the entire world is watching you. You see? So this is where we have to educate the people to think 10 times before you post or you share anything, especially regarding with hatred, regarding with what we call racism and anti-religious to anybody. It's very important. At least in Malaysia, you have a lot of zakat fund, a lot of rich people. You have a system to take care of you. But these people, for a Rohingya to be sick, how much they're going to pay at the hospital? They have to pay an expatriate fees. To give birth in our hospital, you have to pay more than 1,000 ringgit. How much we are going to pay as a Malaysian? Sometimes only 60 ringgit, less than 100. But they have to pay for 1,500, 1,200 ringgit. And they are not allowed to work. They are not allowed to, what we call, to go for education. And they are not allowed to get sick. Where do they get the money? I'm taking care of them for more than 30 years, I know. We have to find money to get a childbirth for the Rohingya. What do you do? Yeah? Where is our humanity? If you are Muslim, where is your humanity? If you are Christian, if you are Hindu, where is your humanity? So it's difficult. It's difficult, So but when you treat them badly and you put it in your Facebook or in your what we call Instagram and whatnot, the entire world will know, and they look Malaysia. Last time, with respect, now they will spit at your face. For every action, there is a reaction. You don't expect what we call respect from anybody else after that, because you never respect human being. Lita'arafu means to know each other, to learn from each other, to benefit from each other. If you understand that, then there is no room for negativity, because Quran says lita'arafu, to know each other. Then after knowing, to work together, appreciate each other. Okay, this is a very powerful ayah. But if you don't understand this ayah, the Quran is for humankind. It's not for the Muslims. It's for humanity. Okay, so you don't study the Quran from that perspective. There's no room for negativity if you understand the text correctly. Everybody in the hadith, it says that all the children of Adam, they are just like a white cloth. They are clean, pure as silk. Okay, those that painted it white or black or Christian or Buddhism, whatever, is the parent. The heart depends on the parent, education from the parent. And if the parent having the education from a parochial racist religious perspective, then the parent will paint the same thing to the children, and it will be continuing generation after generation. So the heart is the same, meaning to say that every child born is like a white cloth. That means the heart is the same. What blacken the heart is the education. What blacken the heart, the experiences. Okay, especially the education of the parents. The parent is very important. So if the parent, what we call, is open-minded, exposed to all those things, naturally they will nurture the children to become better. Okay, but the parent, where do they get the education? Then again, the issue will come into back to the education.